Hey everybody, welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers. I'm Rockin' Robbie Billups, and it's time for the weekly comic book review. That's right everybody, thanks for checking out the video. I am Rockin' Robbie Billups. This is the weekly comic book review. It's the show where I read a lot of comic books and I'll let you know what I thought about them, and we always start with the pick of the week, and this week's pick of the week, Swan Songs, issue number 2, from Image Comics, written by W. Maxwell Prince with amazing artwork by Caspar Wingard, who is the letterer on this comic book. Good old Neon is the letterer. Should have known that. He's the letterer of Ice Cream Man, which is always a favorite here at Pop Culture Philosophers. Consistently makes it to the pick of the week, and Swan Songs is no exception. The second issue of Swan Songs was so amazing. So this is a mini-series, each issue self-contained with a different artist. It's all written by W. Maxwell Prince, who has this way of capturing the bittersweetness of the human condition. He does so in the pages of Ice Cream Man. He did so in the pages of Ha Ha, which was an anthology book that was about clowns, right? This is an anthology book about the end of things. So the first issue had Martin Simmons on the artwork. It made the pick of the week, and it was about the end of the world, the apocalypse. But it was about the story of a mother and a son, right? And it was very nuanced, right? This one is the end of a marriage. So it tells the story of this couple who fall out of love and they get divorced, right? But beyond that, in typical cliche fashion, it tells us the entire story of their marriage. In non-cliche fashion, though, it does it in a very profound and captivating way. Caspar Wingard on the artwork is really a highlight in this issue. The art is absolutely brilliant. And there are times where they basically talk about the battle of their divorce in different ways of combat. Like in that scene, you had night combat. Here, you've got samurai combat. And the style shifts to the appropriate tone for those scenes, but most of it is just mundane. Like, it's just the mundane life, and the mundane stuff that's going on in these people's lives, the little things that start cracking the foundation of their relationship, and how it continuously widens those cracks, right? The artwork by Caspar Wingard is absolutely great. There's some really nice references to Kirby artwork in here, too. One of the things I love about Caspar's work is that he's able to take his style and shift and change it consistently all the time. Like, there are times where you definitely can look at a page and go, that's Caspar Wingard. But look at, for instance, this issue, look at Homesick Pilots, look at All Against All. The style is definitely most definitively him. It's his style, but he changes it a little bit for each story that he's doing. This is no exception. The artwork is phenomenal. There is a very, very steamy page in here that I don't collect original artwork or anything like that. I don't collect prints of artwork usually for the most part, but I would like to have that page straight up in the boudoir, if you know what I'm saying. Anyway, loved this book. Thought it was absolutely amazing, filled with profound nuance, filled with amazing technical skill and craft in the artwork and in the writing. Just such a pleasing experience all the way through. And yeah, a little bit sad, a little bit hopeful, and by the end of it, it's all about love, right? Anyway, speaking of love, I love this book. Swan Songs issue number 2 makes the pick of the week. Also from Image Comics, we got Kea here with issue number 10. 10 issues of Kea. This book's been going on for about a year now, and I need to hear more people talk about it. Now, I see some of y'all out in the comments, you're like, yo, I'm loving this book, it's great too. But I do not see many people talking about this book. This book is not a typical high seller, and it needs to be, because the use of the artwork by Wes Craig in this book is absolutely freaking phenomenal. And the use of color is truly an inspiration. This book is one of the best books out there, right? I love the use of no panel borders, but very clear, distinct panel gutters, and just different techniques in the coloring, different techniques in the craft to get certain elements of the story across. This is a great book. It's a great book. I wouldn't call it all ages, but it's definitely appropriate for like middle-age readers, but it's also definitely very adult and very sophisticated in the way that it's telling its story through the art. Wes Craig needs to be recognized as one of the absolute best cartoonists in comic books right now. And the reason is because of this book right here, Kea. Such an exceptional issue yet again. And there was a time, I think issue 5 of Kea, it made the pick of the week, and I was like, because so many times in issue number 1 will make the pick of the week. But it's hard to do in issue number 2, 3, 4, 5. It's definitely hard to do in issue number 10. Keep it rich, keep it captivating, keep it engaging. That's what Wes Craig's able to do in the pages of Kea every single issue, and you need to read this book. Then we got The Untold Tales of I Hate Fairyland, issue number 2. Scotty Young is doing a second volume of I Hate Fairyland right now. I'm enjoying it, but he's also allowing other cartoonists, other writers and creators and artists to come in and tell little vignettes, little stories set in the world of I Hate Fairyland, and it is just irreverent, absurd, crude, fun. I absolutely love this book. It's nice to see the different artists with their different approach to the world, the way that they're bringing their own perspective to the story, to the character of Gert. I absolutely love this. It's so much fun. If you like I Hate Fairyland and you're not reading this, you think it's skippable because it's not like necessarily super tied into the plot. First of all, in this issue, you might be slightly wrong about it not being super plugged into the ongoing narrative, but it's just also great cartoonists doing great work with a really absurd, crude, and irreverent property. Untold Tales of I Hate Fairyland, issue number 2. Loved it. Then we got Gunslinger Spawn, issue number 23 here. Issue number 23 of Gunslinger Spawn sheds a lot of light, a lot of revelatory light on the relationship of Clown and his daughter. What's exactly going on with that? A lot of things that have been happening in the pages of all of the Spawn books have been kind of feeling a little bit loose and disconnected at times. And issues like this really starts connecting those pieces where you can see the overall narrative, I guess, that Todd McFarlane is kind of going for ever since issue 300 of Spawn, and then of course Spawn's universe and all that kind of stuff. That being said, I love King Spawn, and I think Spawn and Scorched are really good too. But Gunslinger Spawn, that Brett Booth artwork, he's doing the art of his career. It's detailed, it's got texture, it's got excitement, it's got dinosaurs, it's got everything you want in a Spawn comic. Gunslinger just doing what a Gunslinger Spawn should do. Great artwork, great coloring, and still one of the best deals in comics. Every Spawn book, $2.99. Cardstock cover. So there you go. Let's jump over to Marvel. Believe it or not, I'm excited for an X book. So let's talk about this one. Children of the Vault, issue number 1. Now, you know me. You know I was all down. I was all in on Jonathan Hickman's House of X, Powers of 10, and where that was going, that build up. And then you know that when Hickman left, shortly thereafter I left. So much so that I didn't even read the Hellfire Gala 2023 when it first released. I have read it since, and if they would have done that 2 years ago, I may still be reading X-Men books. That being said, I still find most of them skippable for me, but I definitely didn't want to skip this one because this is our friend Dennis Camp's first Marvel work. This is awesome. Dennis Camp, of course, is the writer of Maxwell's Demons, 20th Century Men, Agent of Worlds, some of my favorite comics from the last few years. I had to check out what his imagination, what his intellect, what his technical skill could bring to the X books, and I was not disappointed. This is a book set after the fall of X, so it's like after the Hellfire Gala, all that stuff. Cable, it's a Cable Bishop book, right? Cable and Bishop are 2 of my favorite X characters, and I know that Dennis is a big fan of that Soldier X Cable run by Igor Cordley, right? So there are elements of that are in here, like the way that Cable's attitude is, and the way that the powers are being used, and then Bishop. And there's so many references to past works with Cable and Bishop, and even directly referencing that crazy Cable run where Bishop turned out to be like this mass murderer, basically, right? Like, integrating that into the story, I love it. But also using and utilizing, I should say, the Vault, the Children of the Vault. The Vault is this like enclosed city where time is accelerated in a very, very crazy fashion. So 10 years pass here, generations pass there. They have crazy technology. So in the absence of the mutants on Earth right now, the Vault children are stepping in to kind of like solve everything. And it gives me Grant Morrison JLA New World Order vibes. It's like the first 4 issues of Grant Morrison's JLA run. It gave me some of those vibes. It gave me that Soldier X vibe. It was referencing things that a lot of people shy away from, and it did it in a very fun way, but also just a really crazy, imaginative, and intellectual way. I love Dennis Camp. Dennis Camp is such a cool dude, such a great writer, and he knows that comics are meant to be fun, but they're also meant to be art. And very rarely do you hear me talk about the art of writing in comics, right? Usually when we talk about the art of a comic book, we're talking about the visuals. The art of writing. Dennis Camp understands this, and he started at a top tier level. He's only been accelerating that, and I am so excited for the future of Dennis in this industry. This was an X-Men book that I'm raving about, y'all. When's the last time that happened? Exterminators? This is way better than Exterminators, though I do like Exterminators. I really do. Best Leah Williams book ever read. Ghost Rider Wolverine, Weapons of Vengeance, Alpha, issue number 1. So this is the start of a Wolverine Ghost Rider crossover. Benjamin Percy writes both Wolverine and Ghost Rider, so ultimately we're going to get a crossover. This is the start of it, right? Wolverine's still alive after the Hellfire Gala. There is something that he's connected to Johnny Blaze with that is something from his past, from both of their pasts, right? And it's rearing its ugly-ass head again. This book, which was not bad, let me just let you know, I liked this book. I thought it was good. I fell out of Wolverine. I fell out of Ghost Rider. I'm not reading any of those. Even if you're not reading Wolverine or Ghost Rider, you could just read this and enjoy it for what it is. It sets up the idea of this story. It sets up the connection between Johnny and Logan and why they're going to be colliding in this series, and I'm actually all here for it. I liked it. I thought it was good. I thought it was decent. It kind of got me excited. So that's like an X book adjacent, let's be honest. So that's 1.5 X books that I really did enjoy this week. All right, then we got Amazing Spider-Man here with issue number 31, aka 925. And so I guess since it's 925, they want to give us a $10 super thick issue, which I just want to do a comparison real quick. If you don't mind. This is a little experiment. Gunslinger Spawn. Normal size comic, cardstock cover. $10 Spider-Man book. Do y'all see what I'm saying? Do y'all see what I'm saying? Anyway, once again, the Todd Father proves that he knows what he's doing. Marvel proves that they maybe kind of know what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing at all. This is a $10 Spider-Man book. Why? Why? For no reason at all. $9.25? Well, if you really want to lean in the legacy numbering, keep the legacy numbering. Just don't have it there to stop rebooting at issue number 1. I hate how Marvel will just be like, oh, here's an issue number 1, extra size, and then 3 issues later, oh, here's a milestone issue, 9.25. Like, it just pisses me off so much. It pisses me off so much. I hate it. I hate it. That being said, the main story in here was actually pretty good. It's the marriage of Randy, right? That's his name. Anyway, I almost did a D's nuts. Anyway, the main story's okay. So Tombstone's daughter is marrying Peter's best friend. It's the wedding. It was fine. That was a really solid book, and it's leaning into setting up some of this gang war stuff that's coming back. And I've always loved the street-level gang war type stuff from Spider-Man. I've been talking about this lately. Spider-Man Gang War, that Amazing Spider-Man run, that was some of the first Spider-Man comics I read. So, I liked the main story. Then there's a whole bunch of just back matter that is pointless, that doesn't need to be in here. Now, there are some things in there that are very exciting. There's a tease to a sequel of a very controversial Spider-Man book that I am rather excited to see. That's at the very tail end here. There's some setup for other things to come. There was one thing that set up something that was really neat. I don't even remember what it was, to be honest with you. Oh, and then there's the bit where, like, Peter sees that Kamala Khan's alive and okay, and he's, cool. Anyway, main story's okay. Backups, for the most part, very skippable. Does not justify a $10 issue. That's bullshit. It's bullshit, Marvel. This is just issue 31. Don't make it a big deal because you're like, oh, we forgot it's 925. Do not make 25 issues so significant that you have to have a $10 comic that's still like one of the worst paper qualities out there. Don't do that if you're not going to actually lean into your damn legacy numbering. Marvel, you suck sometimes. You suck sometimes. You really, really do. Anyway, Miles Morales Spider-Man, issue number 9. Another great issue of Miles Morales Spider-Man. The artwork in this book is good. It does feel a little bit more rushed. I have applauded Federico Vincentini for maintaining a consistent pace on this book, giving us very dynamic action, very exciting visuals, really cool stuff. Plus Miles versus Hobgoblin. I'm always going to be here for this. Cody Ziegler's doing a great job with the characterization, with building up this world, with building up the character of Miles. Doing great stuff here. The artwork, though, I will say, maybe Federico, just take a couple months off. Just a couple months off, and it's going to get right back to where we were. I'm not saying the art's bad. The art was great. But it's not what it could be. Maybe you need just a month break. Just a month. Maybe just do a half issue next time. I don't know. Miles Morales Spider-Man number 9, though, was a solid issue, and I really liked it. Red Goblin here with issue number 7. Alex Packnadell doing a great job making a book that shouldn't work. It's a book about Norman Osborn's preteen grandson being a symbiote. That, like, in the hands of anybody else, that's going to be dumb. It's just going to be a cash grab with all the symbiote stuff. That being said, Alex Packnadell is actually doing something here about the legacy of evil. He's doing something here thematically. I really like this book. I think it's super strong. I really like it. There's some Crossbones stuff in here. And as much as I love Alex Packnadell in this world, I love his work when he's doing his own thing a little bit more. But I love how Alex is able to bring his style of nuance and exploration and horror into books, even like Red Goblin. So Red Goblin number 7, I loved it. And another thing, I will applaud Marvel. You know, I was a little down on him. A little bit. There's a nice tribute to John Romita Sr. in the first couple pages of most of these Marvel books. So that's high class. So that's cool. Guardians of the Galaxy issue number 5. I thought the last issue of Guardians of the Galaxy was amazing and brilliant. The first issue was okay. Second issue was solid. Third issue dipped. Fourth issue was really good. Fifth issue, yeah, it's all right. It's just kind of boring. Kind of been there, done that. Doesn't really move the story too much forward, in my opinion. Kev Walker's artwork is okay. It's acceptable. It's decent. But this is an inconsistent book where it's mediocre and then it's really good. So give me more like issue 4 and I'm going to stay on this book. Keep giving me issue 5s and I'll drop out. Same thing with Avengers. Avengers number 4. These last couple issues of the Avengers have just been kind of dull for me. Not really caring, not really enjoying it, not really feeling myself plugged into the story, to the characters. We haven't really taken any time to show the dynamic of this team. We just kind of thrown them into the situation that seems like it should be big and epic, but it feels like there's no stakes because it just all happens so quickly and haphazardly, and it just doesn't quite work for me. Now, the artwork is solid, and there are good things about this issue, and Jed MacKay is a very solid, capable writer, especially at mainstream superhero comics, but Avengers needs a little bit more something to really have us connect to it, and right now, it's not finding that for me. Let's jump over to DC. And from DC, we have Night Terrors, issue number 3, from Joshua Williamson, Casper Wingard, and a whole bunch of other artists. I've been loving Night Terrors. Now, I know, because we've been talking about this. In fact, I was just on Fable's show, Blame Fable and His Amazing Friends, on Instagram like a week ago. We were talking about this, where a lot of people have been skipping out on Night Terrors. Now, this is a blunder as far as editorial kind of things go, because what you're doing is you're taking books, because Dawn of DC's been pretty solid for the most part. You're taking books that are building momentum and you're interrupting them for 2 months. And as a retailer, what I'm seeing is that a lot of people are choosing, you know what, maybe for 2 months I'm not going to buy DC books and I'm just going to chill out, save some money, maybe try some other things. You're giving people the opportunity to jump off your books. That being said, most of us that are reading Night Terrors are really, really enjoying it. Josh Williamson understands what he's supposed to be doing here. He is giving us Nightmare on Elm Street in the DC universe. There's a villain. He put everybody to sleep. He's going through everybody's nightmares. He's being Freddy Krueger through everybody's nightmares, stoking the fires, provoking people, trying to find the Nightmare Stone. The Nightmare Stone is found in the pages of issue number 3. There's some really cool stuff going on there. Deadman possessing Batman's body. Sandman, Wesley Dodds, resurrected as a zombie, teaming up with Deadman, possessing a Batman's body. And then other little things like the Free Comic Book Day setup with the Robin. And it was also the backup in the Batman Night Terrors issue number 1. That comes to fruition here, and it builds up to an exciting climax. The artwork feels very nightmarish, very horrific, very scary movie driven. And I'm loving the main Night Terrors title. Now, you don't have to read any of the side stuff if you don't want to. But if you are reading those books and following those characters, I would suggest that you check out, like if you're reading Green Lantern, read Night Terrors Green Lantern, because it's going to be exploring the psychology of Hal Jordan from the writer who's doing Green Lantern. So it definitely does break momentum, but it does also kind of transcend a little bit as well. The main Night Terrors book, though, is all you need. It's exciting. And y'all, I'll just go ahead and let you know, I have read the final issues of this. Night Terrors, Night's End, whatever they call that. I've read the end of that. A very exciting ending that leads into some major shit coming on the horizon. Night Terrors, if you're a DC fan, you definitely at least need to be reading the main title. I am totally digging it. Let's get to those tie-ins. Night Terrors Green Lantern. This is written by Jeremy Adams, who was 2 issues into his Green Lantern run, focusing on Hal. And it's interrupted by this. But it's also exploring a lot about this character. Like, if you've never read many Hal Jordan books and you are digging what Jeremy Adams is doing, this Night Terror series, and this is the final issue, they're all just 2-issue minis, because everything returns to normal in September. It really does a great job of just developing like some of the psychology behind Hal Jordan, his relation to fear and nightmares and stuff like that. Plus there's a Sinestro backup story that's pretty decent as well. Not as good as the main story, but I like the art, I like the story, I like the exploration. Is it essential to Night Terrors? No. Is it essential to Green Lantern? No. But is it a really good exploration on where Jeremy Adams is taking this character? Yes. So I liked it. Then we got Night Terrors The Flash, issue number 2, written by our buddy Alex Packnadell. Just like with Red Goblin, taking something that could be a cakewalk for him and actually sinking his teeth into it and doing something truly exciting, right? Like, there's a body horror aspect to this issue of Night Terrors The Flash that I really like, kind of applying that use of the Speed Force and body horror and Cronenbergian type stuff in a way, like just a little bit, just a little bit that's there, but I really like it, and a great exploration on the character of Barry Allen. Then we got Night Terrors Robin. This is my favorite Night Terrors tie-in of the week. I love this one. This one focuses in on Tim Drake and on Jason Todd. They have been the 2 Robins that don't always get the most love. Tim Drake, I think, is the best Robin. Jason Todd, to me, is the worst Robin. However, I've become more of a Jason Todd fan, and this issue, building the trust between them and the openness that they're having with each other about their fears and how they feel like they're the worst Robin or how they feel like they're not good enough, that's a really cool exploration. Plus, the artwork in this book is freaking awesome. Some of these Night Terror tie-ins have truly amazing, horrific artwork where they completely understand what they're trying to do. Night Terror Shazam, issue number 2. This was written by Mark Waid with artwork by Roger Cruz. So it's kind of got this like old school kind of vibe to the artwork, and it's all right, it's decent. This isn't focusing on Billy, it's focusing on Mary and the rest of the family, but it's actually doing it in an exciting way. And if you're loving what Dan Mora and Mark Waid are doing in 2 issues of Shazam right now, this may be building up some stuff that the rest of the Marvel family will be having to deal with. So I liked it. I thought it was solid. Is it essential? No. None of these tie-ins are essential. Then we got Night Terrors Zatanna. Really liked this issue. Really liked the story. Zatanna using her magic. She's one of the few who doesn't fall asleep. In the last issue, Robot Man from the Doom Patrol teams up with her. He gets possessed and turned into a nightmare. This is her having to deal with that. You get a lot more of the, what do they call them? They're not the Nightmare Soldiers. I don't even remember what they're called. They're called the Sleepless Nights. You get a lot more of the Sleepless Nights in this issue. I'm just a big Zatanna mark, So I liked this. I also am a big Robot Man and Doom Patrol mark, so I like this. It's written by Dennis Culver, who's writing Doom Patrol, so here we go. So I thought that was pretty cool. Then we got some DC books that are not Night Terrors. We got the Superman Annual for 2023. If you're reading what Josh Williamson is doing in the pages of Superman, which I think is exceptional, really good, solid, fun stuff, this is an essential read. Sometimes, like Marvel right now, they got a lot of annuals out. I've been skipping them. They're doing that Contest of Chaos. They're not plugged into the main titles, to the thematics, or to the main story. That's not the case here. This is a story focusing in on Lois and the rest of the reporters from the Daily Planet. It's less focused on Superman, but it is building up the rest of the world and the mystery that Josh Williamson has been building up to. So if you're reading Superman, you need to read this book. And when you get done with it, you'll realize why. It's because it's fleshing out a lot of these things that are going to build up into some big super events, possibly next year. Superman, the Annual, really solid this week. Batman Incorporated, issue number 11. Batman Incorporated is one of DC's best books, and a few of us are talking about it, and more of us are starting to realize that, but Ed Brisson and John Timms are absolutely slaying Batman Incorporated. At first, I was really nervous this was just going to be a Ghostmaker book with the Batman Incorporated people just slightly in there, but no, everybody is getting their chance to shine and their chance to not shine. And if you're reading this book, you know what I'm talking about. The stakes are high. It's awesome. Joker's on the scene. He's created Joker Incorporated. He is trying to twist Ghostmaker and Batman Incorporated into killing people to save lives. Really interesting explorations on these characters, really interesting dynamics between these characters, and just a really solid, dynamic, and fun comic book with a lot of stakes behind it. Batman Incorporated number 11. Why is this so awesome? Because these go to 11. That's why. World's Finest, Teen Titans, issue number 2. Loved it. Better than issue number 1, which I did like, but issue number 2, wow. Some really great explorations, especially on Garth, on Aqualad. Really like that bit. Mark Waid understands the history of the superhero. He understands the history of the DC universe. So he's able to, just like in World's Finest, Batman Superman World's Finest, he's telling us a Silver Agey feeling kind of book, but in a modern era. That's what he's doing here with the Teen Titans. So it feels very classic, very Silver Age, very old school, but at the same time it feels hip, feels fresh, feels new. Mark Waid's older than me. I don't know how he's able to do it, but he is aided by Lou Pacino's artwork because the artwork is pretty solid in this book. Great explorations on the characters, on their relationships to one another. World Titans, Teens Finest. Absolutely fantastic this month. Thought it was great. At Mad Cave, we got You've Been Canceled, issue number 3 from Kurt Perez? I've been calling this dude Kurt Pyers this entire time. He's never corrected me. Kurt, come on, bro. Just let me, if I say your name wrong, anybody out there, if I say your name wrong, please correct me. Please just send me a DM, slide right in, let me know. We had Chris from Lost in Comics on the Best of the Month. We were talking about this book. He goes, Kurt Perez or something. I was like, wait, what? He's like, yep, that's his name. Man, I've been saying Pyers this whole damn time. You've Been Canceled is a great book. Really solid stuff. It's about a reality show in the not-so-distant future where when society decides that someone needs to be canceled, they get their names put into an algorithm, into a computer program, and there's a reality show where assassins go around and kill these people that need to be canceled. But the main dude from this show, like the main assassin, the tables are turned, and now he's one to be canceled. You find out why, you find out how. A really great exposition-y issue that still had lots of cool action. Now, the one thing I will say about issue number 3 is it feels like there's some shortcuts taken in the artwork, but not every page. There are some pages where it's just a lot of exposition, so the characters, for instance, will be like anchored in a corner, for instance, of the panel, and then there's dialogue, not a lot of background, just a lot of gradients to work with. That felt a little bit cheap, a little bit rushed, but then you got bits where the action happens, the heads are coming off, the limbs are getting severed, and it goes right back to what I love about this book with that dynamic, gritty, textured artwork. You've Been Canceled 3 issues in. I ain't canceling it. I love it. I want that book to keep going and going and going. And Kurt, how do you say your last name? Perez? Is that how you're supposed to say it? All right. Anyway, Killer Queens 2, issue number 1 is here. Putting the sass in assassins. This is a queer space opera book by David Embouer, who we know from Kanto. I'm a huge fan of David's work. I liked the first one. I really liked the first issue of the second volume of this series. There is a new character introduced, a prince who is on the run, and it is up to our two main characters to help them in their escape or in order to capture them, right? Because we don't know where all the chips are going to fall till we get to the end of this issue, and there's a revelation there, but I like it. So if you're into space operas, if you're into queer comics, if you're into that representation, if you're into just dope stuff, check this book out. Killer Queens 2, issue number 1, starting the book Kings Not Wings. Absolutely love it. David, you killed it on that one. The Barnstormers here with issue number 2 from Tula Lute and Scott Snyder. Two creators that I have met. Tula is absolutely Mary Poppins, y'all. Like, straight up. Like, I thought we were talking to Mary Poppins when we met her. I love her artwork. There's some moments here where the art is just relying on gradients for the background, but then other moments where the art really shines. So I like the artistic exploration of it. I love the story. It's about this woman. She's about to get married to a dude who she doesn't really want to get married to. And she winds up running off with this dude who's like a stunt plane guy. This takes place like, I don't know, in the 20s or 30s or something like that. But the artwork is great. The story is great. The romance is believable and relatable. And it's a very exciting kind of old school kind of vibe to it. A little pulpy, a little Indiana Jonesy, a little adventurous. But at the same time, just a really solid comic book. And a lot of Scott Snyder stuff can be very verbose. And especially these Dark Horse ones, which these are reprints of the Comixology stuff. Sometimes these, because they're 2 issues in one, take a long time to read. Not the case with Barnstormers, because it does have this very dynamic quality, even with the script, and I applaud Scott and Tula for that. Then we got Damn Them All returning with issue number 7 from Simon Spurrier, Charlie Adler, Sophie Dodgson, Boom Studios. I really like this book. This issue, though, maybe not so much. The problem was, it was almost a chore to read, and some people had said that about Volume 1. I do love the reverency that this book brings to its topic, which is mostly dealing with ceremonial magic, demons, angels, and stuff like that. I think artistically, especially with the coloring, they do a great job of bringing these ideas to light. But this one did get bogged down on me just a little bit, so I think Damn Them All is definitely something that is best not being read in the middle of a stack of like 30 or 40 comics, but definitely more enjoyed on its own. So definitely check out that first graphic novel. It is basically Simon Spurrier doing Constantine with no holds barred. And I'm liking it and I'm digging it, but this issue was a little bit of a chore to read for me, to be honest with you. Then we got Gene Simmons' Dominatrix issue number 2. And I know what you're thinking. We're at the end of the video. Robbie hasn't done the smell of the week or the cover of the week. Is this the cover of the week by Jim Ballant for Dominatrix number 2? Y'all, I am very tempted to make this the cover of the week, but it's not. We'll get to that. Dominatrix number 2, though, great cover, spicy cover. It's about a dominatrix who winds up over her head in a situation. She's on the run. She's trying to figure out this mystery. She's got a bag of pills that gives her superpowers. So she's a superpowered dominatrix trying to solve this mystery. The story's okay. The artwork inside is just okay. It's decent. It's fine. It's not bad, but it's not super great. But I'm going to buy every issue of this. First of all, I'm a fan of Kiss, so I like Gene Simmons. He created this character. Seems like a character that he would create. And I love the covers so much. Love these covers. The book itself is just okay. But if you want some thirsty covers, definitely check that out. So let's recap, and then I'll let you know what the smell of the week and the cover of the week is. Dominatrix, great cover. It's okay on the inside. Damn Them All, really love the reverency to ceremonial magic and angels and demons that is portrayed in the pages of this book, but it is a little bit of a slog to read. Does that make slog? Anyway, Barnstormers, loving that one. Like the artwork, like the story. Very fast-paced for Scott Snyder. Killer Queens 2, queer space opera. 3 words that I absolutely love being put together. You've Been Canceled, issue number 3. Maybe a little bit of shortcuts taken on the artwork here and there, but still a really solid, fast-paced issue. World's Finest, Teen Titans, issue number 2. improves on the momentum from the first one. Batman Incorporated number 11. This goes to 11, and it deserves it because that book is awesome. Superman Annual. If you're reading the Superman book, do not skip this. Essential stuff being built in those pages. Night Terrors Zatanna. Loved this one. Not essential. Night Terrors Shazam. Liked this one. Not essential. Night Terrors Robin. Frickin' loved this one. Not essential. Night Terrors The Flash. Loved this one. Not essential. Night Terrors Green Lantern. Loved this one. Not essential. Night Terrors number 3. Loved this one. Definitely essential. So I thought that was pretty cool. All right. The Avengers. Starting to lose me pretty quickly here. Guardians of the Galaxy. A little bit inconsistent. Kind of trying to lose my attention. Red Goblin number 7 though. Love the exploration. Love the characters. Alex Pagnadell. This could just be a job for him, but he's actually giving it his all, and I can see that on the page, and I love it. Miles Morales Spider-Man, great stuff. Hobbs versus Miles, I'm loving it. The artwork has lost a little, it's like 5% of its luster. So this is like 95% or whatever. Amazing Spider-Man, 31, $9.25, $10. Bullshit. Bullshit. Ghost Rider Wolverine Weapons of Vengeance Alpha number 1. Actually not bad. Even if you're not reading Wolverine or Ghost Rider, you can jump into that and check it out. Children of the Vault, Dennis Camp doing what Dennis Camp does, and also getting me excited for an X-Men book. So that's really freaking cool. Gunslinger Spawn 23. Loved this one. Thought it was great. Untold Tales of I Hate Fairyland, issue number 2. Great cartoonist doing interesting things with this crude and irreverent property. Kaya, Wes Craig continuing to deliver one of the best comic book experiences out there, page to page, issue to issue. Swan Songs number 2, pick of the week, and cover of the week, and smell of the week. I have not smelled such a glorious scent from an Image comic in a very long time. Swan Songs number 2 gets the trifecta. It has the hat trick. It's pick of the week, it's cover of the week, and it's smell of the week. There you go. Swan Songs number 2. That's what I'm reading. That's what I'm digging. What are you reading? What are you digging? Let us know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps us out. And join us over at patreon.com/PCP if you want to help support the channel and unlock exclusive content like this video available in an audio downloadable file hours before it drops here on YouTube every single week unless I do it live for some reason. Anyway, that's what I read. That's what I thought. What are you reading? What do you think? We've already done all that, right? What's going on? How do we end these videos? Oh, we've already done all the plugs? All right. Horror Fest is coming. I'll tell you that. That's really cool. Dominatrix, sexy cover. Yeah. All right. Let's see. What else we got to do? We just got to go. Thanks for watching. Thanks for rocking with us. Keep on reading. Station. Pop, pop. Boom.